I hate that it's come to this again, but it is another Overreaction Monday where we are reacting to a loss on Sunday afternoon. That now marks three straight. All three games, you could argue the Miami Dolphins should have won. And before we even get to Overreaction Monday, I want to get this out in the open off my chest to start today's show. Personally, with the trade deadline just 2 days away, or I guess tomorrow, I'm trading everyone who is on a one-year deal if you could get picks. That includes Javon Holland. That includes Calais Campbell, Emmanuel Ogbah, Raheem Mostert, Odell Beckham Jr. If you are a veteran who is potentially going to leave this team in free agency this year, I am trading you if you get a good enough offer in terms of a day 3 pick or even, heck, if in some cases a day 2 pick. This entire defense, and we'll talk about the defense coming up in a second, is soft, old, slow, and can't generate any pressure on opposing quarterbacks. I am fine with a hard reset at the defensive position and the side of the football this offseason, so why not get started now by acquiring some draft picks? But we'll say this. The Dolphins are 2-6. How annoyed are you with this season? Scale 1 to 10. A lot of expectations coming into the year after back-to-back playoff appearances. Roster on paper, yes, it was older, but it was also more experienced. So you thought maybe down the stretch of the season, this team would not falter as it has over the past 2 seasons. But I'm going to tell you what, I don't even know how many zeros I added. I just added as many zeros as I wanted to. It's a million. A billion, Jack Lottery says. That's how annoyed I am with this team because, yes, the Dolphins roster is a little bit older. It's slower. And you can argue it was a little bit injury-prone as well, at least defensively. You still should not have the mistakes. You should still not have the disgusting effort that you have had at times on the defensive end. And now that the offense is figuring it out, scoring 27 in back-to-back games, it is utterly frustrating to see this Dolphins defense, which looks so good through the first 7 weeks, come and struggle over the last 2 weeks. And that's overreaction number 1. The Miami Dolphins defense is horrible, which sucks because I actually do think it is bad. And I came on record and on the channel saying over the first 6 games of the season or 5 games of the season, going into the Colts game, that his defense was really good. And they just needed a competent offense to stay on the football field and not have the time of possession get favored 60% against the defense, and the Dolphins only be on the field 40% of the time. But the Dolphins' offense has been back. You've scored 27 points. You led the time of possession battle against the Buffalo Bills. You did it against the Cardinals, and you lost. You scored 27 points in back-to-back weeks. Giving up 28 to the Cardinals and 30 against the Bills cannot happen. Now, are those two offenses good and above average? Yes, they are. They are above average offenses in the National Football League. But if you want to be a team that wins in big-time moments and tell yourself that you can be a good team, you need to be able to not let down your offense. The offense let down the defense the first 5 games of the season. Now, over the last 2 weeks, the defense has let down the offense. And it's getting annoying. It really is. They cannot play complementary football. I think you punted 1 time. They punted once. It was the first possession of the game. After that, they either turned the ball over or scored on every possession. You punt the ball once, and you lose. It is so annoying. Now, this is unrelated, but that first punt from Jake Bailey was absolutely horrific. But another part, you only had 1 sack. And the annoying part about the 1 sack is that it came in the most opportunistic time for you. The sack that you got came when you absolutely needed it. After you tied the game at 27, the Bills are driving down the field. It's 1st and 10, and you sack Josh Allen on a big play from Chop Robinson, finally getting home, bringing down Allen for a loss of 4, creating 2nd and 14, giving you the opportunity to get off the football field and then potentially get the ball back for yourself to win in regulation. And then guess what happens? You jump off sides. Chop Robinson has a great play. He takes it away by jumping off sides and giving the Bills 3rd and 9. And then obviously what everyone's going to talk about is the Jordan Poyer personal foul for drilling Keon Coleman to the head. Listen, I'm not happy with the call. He drilled him in the head, and Keon Coleman left with a concussion. So, he did probably commit the flag. Is it annoying that it is a flag? It's a bang-bang play, and it's he wasn't headhunting. He just was trying to make a play on the football. He just happened to hit Keon Coleman head-to-head. It stinks that it happened, but, these type of mistakes, these type of disaster-type plays for Miami down the stretch is what has killed them all season long. And it's just so infuriating to watch it happen time after time after time. And that's not even talking about Raheem Mostert's fumble in the third quarter, which we'll get into in just a second. But make sure you are subscribed. We crossed 63,000 subscribers on Sunday's watch party. We appreciate all the new ones that joined. We got over like 500 subscribers on that Sunday watch party. We're still going to have you covered. And make sure you still are subscribed, because if a trade happens for Miami or any rumors pop out over the next 24 to 48 hours, we will have you covered with the top content around the Dolphins surrounding the trade deadline. Overreaction number 2, Achane is a generational back. Well, generational might be a strong term to use, but in terms of being one of the top backs in football, there's really no debate anymore. Achane is him. He is your lead guy. He is incredible. And look at what he did against Buffalo. He's been your best offensive player all season long. That accounts for Tyreek Hill. That accounts for Jalen Waddle, who has really no-showed for most of the year. Achane is your best guy. He touched the ball 20 total times in this game, totaling over 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. He is a weapon, and I know he's described as that and as someone who can't be a lead bell cow back, which might be the case. He's undersized. It's difficult for players of his size to be a bell cow lead guy. That's why it's important that Miami has the running back trio that they have. But with Achane playing so well and some other factors like Jalen Wright, you have to beg the question if Raheem Mostert is even needed, because Achane is a top 3 back in football. The 3 best running backs in football this season, in my opinion, without a doubt, have been, you can say whatever order you want, but Derrick Henry, Achane, and, oh my God, Saquon Barkley. Thank you. That's who I was saying. I, for some reason, couldn't think of it. Thank you, Jack. Those are the top 3 backs in football this year. Now, I know CMC's hurt, but those are the top 3. Also, something that is top 1. That is GameTime, the number 1 ticketing app out there. And if you want to go see the Dolphins play, the Heat play, or any live event in your local area, GameTime is the best way to get your tickets with so many great features, including one called GameTime Picks, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. That's just one of a million features that is so awesome with GameTime. A couple other that I really like, all-in pricing. Toggling that shows you the total price of your ticket up front rather than you getting blindsided by hidden fees at checkout. Panoramic view in your seat before you buy. You know exact vantage point of your venue, whether it is a comedy show, concert, or sporting event. You will know exactly what you will be looking at, and that is so awesome that they show you the pictures in the app before you buy. They also specialize in last-minute tickets. Make sure you download GameTime today and use code CHATSPORTS when creating an account to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, first purchase only, but one more time, code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off that first purchase. Shout out to GameTime. What time is it? It is game time. All right, as we progress here with the show, I'm just done with Raheem Mostert. And I've been saying this for 2 or 3 weeks now that I think Jalen Wright deserves more. And did Jalen Wright have the most efficient game against Buffalo? No, he only had like 6 carries for 18 yards. But it's just the way you watch, like the eye test. He runs physical. He is not afraid of contact. He's got speed, athleticism, agility, vision, and the physicality to run through an MFer's face. And Raheem Mostert has just cost this team twice this season. And I know he was so good last year, and he's been decent running the football, but his 2 costly mistakes have potentially cost the Dolphins 2 games in the win column. Like, I'm being serious. Like, he ran 5.6 yards per carry. Great. He ran the ball fine, and he did a lot of good things when the ball was in his hands. But the one mistake was a fumble on the first drive of the third quarter. That can't happen. He completely flipped momentum. The Dolphins led 10-6 at the break. They start the second half with the football. Mostert gets a 7-yard carry on first down, gets a 17-yard swing pass on second down. 2 plays, you're already at past midfield. What happens on the third play? 7-yard run, stripped, fumble. Bills get the football down 6, march right down the field to take the lead 12-6 because Bass missed the field or extra point. That's not the only time he has done this, though, and that's the infuriating part. Week 7 against the Colts, coming out of the bye. You were up at halftime, 10-3. What happens early in the third quarter? Raheem Mostert fumbles at your own 28-yard line. The Colts recover, and then they take 3 or 4 plays to get 28 yards and tie that game at 10. That is now 2 times in the last 3 weeks that your veteran running back cost you games. And is it crazy to say that that one play cost them both those games? Maybe a little bit. But you can't deny the fact that momentum is a major part of pro sports. And what did Raheem Mostert do in both of those instances we just laid out for you? He gave momentum back to the opponent. The Bills, there was no question. And if you watched our watch party, as soon as Raheem Mostert fumbled and I saw the Bills recover, I said right away, yep, the Bills are scoring a touchdown, taking the lead. Because it's every dang time you give your opponent that opportunity when you are leading, you just get them a spot back in the game. And Mostert's done it twice now. Colts game, Bills game. I can't do it anymore. Jalen Wright runs physical. He protects the football. With him and Achane, I'm fine running with that running back duo. If you get a trade offer for a day 3 pick, 4, 5, 6, maybe a 7th round pick, I'd hold on the road Mostert. 4, 5, 6, I'm trading Raheem Mostert to that team. Maybe Dallas. I mean, their season might be over, too. Talk about a disappointing squad like Miami. But if they need a running back, which they desperately do, and they offer a trade for Mostert, have it. Are you done with them? Are you with me? Make the call. Would you trade Raheem Mostert? Type Y for yes or type N for no. It's pretty obvious that I'm typing my Ys, right, folks? And we'll get into the trade deadline because my third overreaction on the channel is sell to trade deadline. Excuse me. That's not an overreaction. They should sell. And there's 5 players that are veterans that maybe might get some calls by opposing teams. Raheem Mostert, we just talked about him. Calais Campbell, it's been reported by, I think it was Ian Rappaport as well as Diana Rossini that the Dolphins have received calls on Calais Campbell. Emmanuel Ogbah working with that torn bicep. We'll see if he gets called upon and see if the Dolphins trade him. Odell Beckham Jr. finally showed up in this game. He had 3 catches for, I believe, like 16 yards. Nothing crazy, but it's the first time he's made an impact on any game. And then Jordan Poyer, the man in that secondary. He's been horrible this year. If a team wants him for a 7th-round pick, sure, you can have him. The point I'm trying to make is when you're 2-6, and if you realistically want to make the playoffs, you have to win 8 of your last 9 games at minimum. Not minimum. Maybe you can get away with going 7-2. Who knows? This AFC stinks. Maybe 9-8 gets you the final spot in the playoffs. But likely to make the postseason, you have to go 10-7. And with that needing to be 8 wins of your last 9 games, I find it very unlikely the Miami Dolphins will be able to do that. Based off what I've seen with this defense and how this team just punches themselves in the face time after time after time. If you are a veteran, like I said off the top of the show, that is on a 1-year deal, or heck, even if next year's your last year on the deal, I am fine getting rid of you for the right price because this team is going nowhere this year. Even if you do rattle off wins and make the playoffs, there's no serious expectation that this team is going to be able to win a playoff game, let alone make a run in the postseason and win multiple playoff games. So to my point is the fact that you have all these players that some teams might want. There's no hope for this season. Might as well trade them and just look ahead to the offseason and get a head start with multiple draft picks. It's kind of where I'm at with things because this season is far from, well, I shouldn't say far from over, but it's over. All right, that will do it. Make sure you hit that sub button because we're going to break down everything on the channel. Over the next 48 hours, a lot of movement to this roster could be happening with trades and other rumors popping up. So make sure you hit that sub button. We'll have a video later today with more on Dolphins trade rumors, including Calais Campbell. So make sure you're subscribed and see you then.